Right guys, we're back playing FTB Insanity. Welcome back to episode 5. Today, what I did is we obviously ended that episode with the lag, insane lag, that was caused by this dark room because I had put the repeater down up here. I think I changed the time on it and it just caused a load of lag. But as you can see, we've got loads of seeds in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this all process through to start off with before I turn that back on, because that could cause problems. So what we're going to do today, I think the next challenge, let's have a look at that, is burn rubber. This is not in order, but I know that the first few actually are in order up to about here, and then it's really free range on where you want to go. And this one is the burn rubber challenge, and that is located here on the monument, so let's go and have a look at that. I could do food, but so yeah, this one is all about what you would expect. It's called burn rubber because you have to burn rubber. So I'm just going to take a print screen of that. Now, I think we should do this challenge, and then after that, we should then aim to create our own IC2 system, because we don't have tin, and tin is needed in every sort of generating system for IC2. So we need to start off by doing some basic setup. So let's start off with a piece of bone meal and a rubber tree sapling. So we got the rubber tree sapling from the last challenge, so let's just chop this tree down. And you'll notice we've got rubber wood, and there's a chance you'll get this thing called sticky resin. And sticky resin is what you use to make rubber. That'll give me 7 rubber, so we need a lot more than that. Luckily we have a flying star, and we have a dark room that we can run whenever we need to. So I'm going to pull out 4 stacks of the resin. I've got enough coal now. I'll burn this up and get some more charcoal, so let's get, we only need a stack really, but we'll use 2. Half a stack, half a stack, half a stack, and then just fill these up. And we'll produce some resin. Now the use of producing resin, and we've already got saplings from this, which is good, and turning it into rubber is because we need a lot of rubber for this challenge, and if we don't use the rubber, we will use it later, guaranteed, so it's not really a waste. But for this challenge we do need a lot of EMC, so we're going to have to turn the dark room back on now. I don't care how much it's done. There we go. We need to turn that back on, otherwise we're not going to get any EMC generated. So there we go, and there's a few diamonds. So what I need to do is I need to go and do what I did last time, which is get a screenshot up, and that can mess the recording up. So I'm just going to go get a quick screenshot up, and we will be right back. So guys, we're back. I've got my screenshot up, and we can start to work on these challenge items. So let's just put that there, because what happens is if bone meal's not in the first slot, instead of bone meal getting into the pipe, it'll be something else, because we're using a transposer and we're not filtering the item. I mean, we could put a diamond pipe under there and just say bone meal goes there, everything else goes background. I suppose we could do that, but it would just be a waste. If the dark room stops working, we know we've just filled this up with seeds and stuff, and all we have to do is get down there and empty it. But we got ourselves 8 diamonds, and I think we can work on the first thing now, but we're gonna need, did I teach furnaces to this trans table? No, I did not. Let's make a furnace, teach it, target it, we get 4 more furnaces out. Because stupid vanilla and not implementing shift clicking in this version yet. There we go. So let's grab some coal and turn that into charcoal. So another diamond or two in. Some more charcoal. So first thing I want to cook up is a stack of iron. I'm going to split this between all of these just to make it quicker. Now iron, when you cook it, turns into refined iron, so you're refining it, I suppose, and refined iron is used in some of the more advanced IC2 machines. So if we look at the uses of it by hovering over and press U and not typing it, you can see it's used in a few mod recipes, but if you get to the IC2 one, you see it's used in some advanced items, not the top tier, so it's like a second tier like kind of material, I would say. I do suppose a lot of things do need it. Insulation cutter. I didn't know that was an option too. So the first thing we need to make is one of these, which is an EU detector cable, and this just detects and emits a redstone signal when power's flowing through it. So for this, we're going to need a bit of iron, a bit of rubber, need some copper as well. A stack of copper. We're going to need redstone as well, so let's get some redstone. Right, so if we just, well, we're going to need a few advanced circuits later. So, I mean, electronic circuits. We don't need advanced circuits yet. So the way you make an electronic circuit is like that, and they're basically the basis of most machines. So as you can see, we need one of these high voltage cables. So if we just surround the insulated, surround a piece of refined iron with rubber, we get this insulated high voltage cable, and we need 4 times insulated, so we just put more rubber in it until we get the 4 times insulated. Then we just put our redstone dust and our wire and our circuit, and we get a EU detector cable. So next thing is a miner, and what a miner does, it's basically mines down. Well, we can't mine in here because it's a void world, but it mines down and it uses this mining pipe, and what it'll do is it'll check a certain area around it, and it'll mine up all the ores and deposit into a chest, and you can put a pump next to it and get rid of all the liquids it runs into. It stops at liquids and stuff like that. So it's a good tool if you've got an area that you want to quickly mine out and leave no visible trace but get all the resources. But it's not used that much by a lot of people, I don't think. I think a lot of people prefer to use the Buildcraft Quarry to the Industrial Craft Miner. So yeah, now the way we make mining pipe is we make it with a tree sap and refined iron, and I don't have wood on me, so I need some wood. And the normal use for a tree sap would involve those rubber trees that we just chopped down, but because there's a chance that when you chop the wood down you get a sticky resin, we didn't need the tree sap. But if we had a tree tap, what we could have done is on the rubber wood blocks you would see these little orange marks, and they're like resin spots, I'd say, and you just click on them with the tree tap and you'll get some resin out of there. You can click on them more than once, but you risk over tapping them, and normally if you didn't over tap them, the resin spots would respawn in the same place over time. But if you over tap them, they just don't spawn. So I've just made this mining pipe. We need to make another electronic circuit. There's some copper and some wire. There we go. The redstone and the piece of refined iron, and we get that. Now if we create like a chest of refined iron, we get something called a machine block, and the machine block is the basis for pretty much every machine that is, I'd say, the lower tier in IC2 really, because you can get advanced versions of these. As you can see, all the machines that you can make, but you can get these, which are advanced machine blocks, and they're used for the more advanced stuff. Let me just flip through. Advanced machine blocks, there they are. So the use of advanced machine blocks are like the mass fabricator and terraformer, and all the more advanced machines, if you know what I mean. So we nearly lost that. I should really put a block there just in case, but oh well. So let's make the miner like that. And the most annoying thing about this miner is you always get excess mining pipe, which you have no use for. And the next one we need to make is an MFE, and for this we're going to need a bit of gold. I think that's enough. One piece of gold should be enough. So the first thing we need to make is take 4 diamonds and surround them with redstone. And we get energy crystals. And these are like batteries. They just store IC2 energy. So it makes sense that the block that we're making, which is an MFE, that stores energy in IC2 should take back these sort of batteries. And oh, this is the old IC2. There's been so many changes to IC2 over the past time that it used to what it requires this in this version is copper cables, but in the newer version it requires double insulated gold cables. So I'm just going to show you another trick. Does it work? Yes, no, it doesn't. In the later versions of NEI, you can shift click on the question mark and it will take it all in. It might work, it might just be because of the damage values of the energy crystals. But if you just hit the question mark, it lays it out in the crafting table for you, so you just know how to build it. We're going to need an MFE for ourselves. Let's just go and later when we can generate power, but let's just grab some EMC out of here. I'm going to leave the first 3 stacks, even though this is boosted up. I'm going to leave the first 3 stacks just in case I have to restart it. Let's just burn that up. Which I find start the diamonds. I'll take another stack. There we go. And I'll just pull another diamond out to empty the table. There we go. Quick way to empty your table, that is, just put your client star in there, pull out, say if you've got like 1000 EMC in the table, but you've got a false client star, just put the client star in and pull out a piece of gold, you take 1000 out your client star, but you empty the table at the same time, so it's pretty easy. The next thing we need to make is a macerator, and this is basically a tool that if you put certain items into it, it'll basically grind them up into dust. So you can turn coal into coal dust, which is used for recipes in IC2. You can grind ores, and when you grind an ore, you get double the ore. So you get, basically, if you grind iron, you get 2 iron dust, which you can then use for whatever. You know what I mean? Which you can then basically smelt, and you basically just get I'm stuttering really bad now. Basically when you smelt the iron dust, you get 1 iron ingot. So if you're getting 2 from 1 ore, you're technically doubling it. Now, one of the components is flint, and we haven't had flint. And one way to get flint is macerate gravel. But where do we get gravel from? So we can take a piece of sandstone, which I should have really taught in the transportation table, because we might need it later. And we can use our philosopher's stone and click on it, and we get gravel. Now we can teach that gravel and keep placing and breaking it until we get flint. Teach the flint, chuck it in a piece of wood, and we get 2 more flints. There we go. Now again, for this we need a machine block, an electronic circuit. I'm just going to make a ton of this copper cable. We don't use it now, we'll use it later. Idiot. There we go. Then it's just this, and flint across the top, and cobble. This is macerator. Now we're going to need a high voltage transformer. Just type in HV, because it's HV dash transformer. The way you make this is we need to make something else, which is medium voltage transformer, which is pretty easy to make. We can make that right now. Where is it? There it is. And then we need a high voltage transformer, so we just need another electronic circuit. Then we need some energy crystals, and the way we make those is like this, as before. And is it just me, or does this happen for everyone? The diamond icon seems to be like, it looks good in the inventory, but it seems to be like off-center in the crafting grid compared to like redstone and all that. I think it's because the icon's actually shifted down towards the corner, in the texture sheet or whatever they're using. But there's a HV transformer, and I'm not going to go into what this does because it's pretty high level complicated stuff in IT2. Basically, it takes extreme voltage and turns it down to high voltage, but I'm not going to go into like the details of the value of extreme voltage and sorry about that. The values of extreme voltage and high voltage. I'm not going to go into that because it's just complicated and high level IT2 stuff, and really it's something you need to learn on the way towards it. But you will only use that if you're using like nuclear reactors that are outputting insane amounts of power, or other sources that can create so much power. There's very little amounts of sources of power that are that high. So the next thing we have is the electronic furnace, which we need to make, and we can make an iron furnace. We need to make an iron furnace as part of the electronic furnace recipe, but there's two recipes. Now, in this recipe, you want to use the bottom one because you save iron. But it's also required in the generator. I'll show you this, and many people, the recipe for a generator. Many people argue that this one's cheaper, and it's cheaper fuel wise, but I'd recommend when you're making this, make the iron furnace this way. Otherwise you're going to end up wasting iron. So we actually need normal iron for this, so let's get some of that. It's 5 iron. So you're saving 3 iron there, just for 8 pieces of cobblestone, so definitely much cheaper. Menu, electronic furnace. Next one, the compressor. For this, I know we're going to need some of that. Compressor yet again, takes an electronic circuit. And a machine block. We're going to probably need some more refined iron at the end of this. And a compressor recipe is just simply stone down the sides. Then we need a Tesla coil, and this basically just when receives a redstone signal just causes damage in an area. Let's get a bit more iron though to cook up. 8, 8, 8, and 8. So to make a Tesla coil, we need to make that EV transformer again, and the way we make one of those, as remembered, is like that. Next, we're going to need electronic circuits. We definitely need more redstone. Next, we're going to make this electronic circuit, so like this. Then we're just going to need 2 pieces of refined iron, which we have in there. The electronic circuit, the MV transformer, and the redstone. And there's a Tesla coil. Now, crop Metron. This one's annoying as well because you always get extra crops. So basically what a crop is, it's a different way to grow plants. It's added by industrial craft, and you can put a plant on there when you break, when you like harvest the plant, you don't take away the seeds, you get the produce, and generally they give a lot more produce, but they do take some time to grow. And the crop matron is just an automated way to manage these, because you can give them fertilizer, you can keep them weed free because you can get weeds, you need to keep them watered and stuff like that. And the crop matron is just an automated way that IC2 adds just to manage these, and it just fits in well with the entire automation thing of industrial craft. So we're going to need 2 electronic circuits for this, I believe. Either that or my brain has gone dead in 5 seconds. No, I was right. And then we're going to need a machine block and a chest. So, if memory serves me correctly, it is like that, and crops around it, and a crop matron. Okay, so that's all that done. Let's start cleaning up our inventory. Turn it into EMC. Get another diamond. Get the redstone. There's lots of fuel mode. Let's just take 2 pieces of mold this fuel out. And we'll go chuck that into the condenser. Let's just grab a bit of cobblestone now, and we can start storing everything else so that can go in there, they can go in there, and that can go in there. We'll go hand that in a minute. Let's just run back to the dark room. Chuck the Mobius fuel in there. I'll keep the diamonds. Let's just empty the safe as well. We don't want to run the risk of this overflowing, because if it does, it can, you know, cause problems. But as you can see, this thing serves us well. It gets us diamonds every so often, and it's just a good, in my opinion, it's one of the better EMC choices to start off. Sorry about this, I've got a really bad cold. One of the better EMC choices, because the other one is you can build a massive mob farm, but that takes like twice as long to build, and you generally don't get the same returns. So it always seems to me to be better to use a, what's it called, dark room. Now, because of Free the Beast, and how easy it was to generate EMC with the dark room, it did get nerfed, and this was done by increasing the EMC value of bones and bone meal from 32 to 48. This wasn't a massive nerf, I would say, but it was one that decreased the returns of the dark room pretty largely. But you know, you still get a pretty good returns. So as you can see, we've got pumpkin seeds and tin. So what we need to do is, because the next challenge, I'm going to take a screenshot of this before I end this episode, because I think we're going to end the episode up in a minute, is the Bronze Age. And really, I just press F9 because F9 move. Oh, button. Really, for this you need bronze, and the way you make bronze is there's 2 types of bronze. There's this bronze. This is from forestry, and this is disabled in FTB. And there's this bronze, which you can only get from this bronze dust, which you get from the dust of the ingots. And the only way to get a dust is to macerate the relevant item. So that means we need to obviously macerate the items, and that means we need power, and that means we just need an IC2 setup. So I think I'm going to end this episode up here, and next episode will be about us setting up our basic IC2 machines. So we'll have like a couple of macerators, a couple of furnaces, probably one of each actually. One macerator, one furnace, one compressor, and one extractor set up, and then we'll set up some form of power generation system. I'm probably going to go with a few geothermals. And the idea behind this is if we have a large power generation system to start off with, we can basically then use the power generation that we I've just got 2 power on mass fabricator and quickly make UU matter, which will allow us to grab the few items we need, such as sugarcane, cactus, and some things like that. We need the cactus for bees and one of the objectives. I believe we could get ink sacks. We can get a lot of things with the UU matter that you need, and you do really have to use UU matter to get some of the things that you need for the monument, because you need the cactus for the bees and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys again next time.